The Super Mario franchise has always been big in the speedrunning community, but what about this terrifying mess makes it the most popular? Games come out nearly every day, and despite looking better, this 25-year-old game is still the champ? Like, this is objectively the better speedrunning game, but yet this is the game with over 23,000 runs? Some world we live in. But really, even 20 years later, Nintendo is still using the same formula they created in 1996 that's older than the man standing in front of you. And yet, both these games are the first and second most popular games to speedrun. What? It's easy to say it's because of Mario's gymnastics, or the fact that the game's a buggy mess, or the fact that I can get any star in whatever order I choose, because the medallion, and we do only one, baby, big medallion, me, man. But it goes so much deeper than that. Speedrunning is ingrained into every part of this game, and I don't even think that was on purpose. They definitely didn't plan for this. Super Mario 64 is a 3D platformer, which in layman's terms means you jump a lot, with the aim to get all stars in the game, beat Bowser, and save the princess. Yeah. And since a speedrun is just playing a normal game really fast, what is a Super Mario 64 speedrun? Well, to start, there are multiple different categories for speedrunning this game. They all have the same end goal, but getting there is where the differences lie. 16 star for baby gamers, where you finish the game with 16 stars. 70 star for awkward teenage runners, where you finish the game with 70 stars. Chiseled Chad 120 star, where you finish the entire game with 120 stars. 1 and 0 star runs, where you finish the game with 1 or 0 star runs. I think you get the idea by this point. The different categories are like, well, you know, different. This one has a lot of glitches, this one takes a really long time to learn, and this one hates minorities. Yikes. But honestly, no one likes those categories anyway. Today we're talking about these three. The good ones, baby. The reasons that make SM64 speedruns so good is common to all three of these categories. Some of these two as well, but mainly these three, so that's what we're gonna focus on. When looking at the most popular games to speedrun on speedrun.com, the first thing you'll notice is that all these games have good movement. Now the next question is, what is good movement? Because that's a blank statement, dipshit. Good movement can be a lot of things, but to me, the words different, intentional, and breakable come to mind. As this being a speedrun, going fast is a very important part of getting the goal. But this isn't any ordinary game with just a sprint and a jump. No! Super Mario 64's movement is different. The first thing that comes to mind is the 3D, right? Like, Celeste is a really cool game to speedrun, but comparing it to Super Mario 64, the movement feels so limited. Celeste is cool, but can you do a triple jump wall kick into a dive? No, didn't think so. The concept for Super Mario 64 was originally going to be made for the SNES, but Miyamoto ended up cancelling that idea because the SNES controller just didn't have enough buttons. Which is why it got pushed back and eventually released on the Nintendo 64, because the team wanted to go above and beyond traditional movement. And this controller is fucking garbage. In an interview, Miyamoto himself said, "Our thinking was, as players got good at the controls, they want to try different button combinations, and if there was nothing past the basics, they'd be disappointed. So we created movements for every button combination." Wait, what? This is the type of freedom and creativity that makes Super Mario 64 so special. There's a jump, double jump, triple jump, wall jump, backflip, side / cartwheel jump, long jump, ground and pound, dive, kick, slide kick, zoom out, pause. You might be saying, Cassidy, why are you speaking Spanish to me right now? But I'm not, I promise. These are all real ways to move in the game. And it's not just for show either. Top speedrunners use every single one of these moves. Not just because you have to get past certain obstacles, but the correct button combinations can make the chubby little plumber that little bit faster. For instance, someone like me would probably run up the hill and do a long jump or two. You know, classy, it works. Did you catch that? By using a much better combination of buttons, it simply skips this entire section. By using a dive and doing a long jump onto the wall, sliding and then finishing with a dive roll onto the platform. This game is beautiful. This is why the movement and all the different jumps they kept adding to the game are so important. It adds a beautiful level of freedom for speedrunners to abuse, like an abusive dad. These different types of movements are used to cut down time everywhere, and literally every single move gets used at least once. Something like the slide kick might not seem very effective, but it works as a faster way to cover a short distance. Slippery Nip, what the fuck, uses the slide kick after a wall jump to quickly leap into the star. The run-up doesn't give much room for a long jump, and the roof is way too close to do a jump and a roll, but the slide kick works perfectly. While some sections of this game have very standard optimal movements, especially like in the castle, it's not that simple in the world. Because this game is like chess. It has more than one move. Thank you. There's great videos on YouTube that compare the PBs of top 4 runners for each category. These are great for analyzing movement because we can compare the differences in their approach in real time. Because while there are optimal routes, life's not that simple. While almost godly, these runners are human and do make mistakes. In TikTok Clock, the 8 red coin star gives us a really good look into this. Puncayshun and Batora all take the same route. Oh wait, no, Puncay fell. The other two jump up getting the first 2 coins and then performing a triple jump defying the laws of physics to get to the above platform. Puncay tries the same thing but falls just short, clipping the edge instead of getting over it and now having to improvise a new line. Puncay just forgets all about the cool flip and takes a little zigzag.
Cheese says, fuck a zigzag, I'm cheese, bitch.
And runs straight to the wall to do a side flip off it and bouncing straight into the thick of things. My wife left me because of this trick, thank you, Cheese. Obviously, if you look at any part of the runs, there will always be differences. This just shows how different even top level runs can be and how they use their movement. Looking at Cheese getting these red coins is, to say the least, breathtaking. But is it the safest and most efficient? But that's the beauty of this game's movement. The fact that someone could do this, let alone wants to do this, is what makes this system so special and intentional. See what I did there? Little loop-de-loop. But when it comes to speedrunning, it's not about just playing the game fast. It's also about cheating. Hold up, not on your wife, on the game. And finally, we come to breakable. Some of these jumps are key to glitching certain parts of the game and skipping whole sections. Super Mario 64's glitches are notorious because not only are they some of the most important parts of the run, but are also incredibly fun. Even just watching him is fun. To get the 6th star of Womp's Fortress, you typically need to go here, talk to the pink guy, get in the cannon, aim at the wall, harass him with the wall like a proud patriot, and then run up and go get the twinkly little star. Which is fine, you know, that works if we were snails. But we're speedrunning, bitches, and that whole cannon thing takes time. And we ain't got a lot of that. So instead, we're gonna head up to this wooden plank and do this. Whatever this is. Basically, you run halfway across, jump, hang, climb up, backflip, shadow box, nearly fall off because you're clumsy, climb up, and then drift into the wall. But this is still a lot of work. While faster to get the star than the original route, we could do better. In the current 16-star world record, they don't even use this way to get the star. They just run into it. Yep, if you can line up at the perfect angle while running and then fall off at the perfect spot, you just get the star. Obviously, this is one of the harder tricks for the speedrunning noob to nail and will likely be the killer of many runs until they, as you say, get good. But either of these precise techniques, when nailed, just look incredible. And this is a common trend you'll find with the rest of the Super Mario 64 speedrun glitches. Because this game is all about being fast and furious, baby. And looking damn good doing it. After manhandling Bowser and throwing him into a bomb, maybe Matt Pat was onto something, usually comes a bunch of boring stars, but by using another glitch, we can bypass all of the fun to get to more Beyblading, which is the real fun. But doing this is no easy task and requires the power of rhythm and mashing. These stairs are usually locked and trying to go up them sacrifices you to dark gods. But by lining up the middle, doing a twirl, doing a long jump, calling on those dark gods to defy gravity, moving backwards. Now as you're moving backwards, get ready to slowly seduce your controller and then rabbit fuck the shit out of it. Start slowing in rhythm and then as you catch the stairs, rabbit fuck that jump button. I mean really just fucking... Mario then gains enough momentum to rocket himself past those gods straight through the door. It requires you to hit the door at the right angle, and for the speedrunning noob, that might be difficult, as the move already requires actions from all limbs and all brain cells. The left hand to control Mario's movement, the right hand to control the jump button, the right leg to rest the controller because your hand isn't even holding the controller anymore, and then the mouth wide open screaming. While doing this, it's easy to not line him up properly and shoot him off in a weird diagonal, launching him into a wall and likely breaking Mario's spine. This is my favorite of the Super Mario 64 glitches because getting it right just feels so good. This trick can be used to skip way more areas than just these stairs. It's also done at the start of the 16-star run to skip straight to Bowser's boss fight. BLJ's is likely the first glitch a speedrunner will learn, not because it's the first one you do, but because it's mechanically the easiest. Just hit the button, stupid! It's also essential for completing the 16-star run, which is the most beginner-friendly run to speedrun in this game. As runners keep learning though, the game and speedrun keeps throwing new glitches for you to slowly cut down more and more time. Like the Lacquer 2 skip, which is actually the first glitch of any speedrun. And while it looks pretty simple, it's actually deceptively hard. This annoying a-hole, who in my opinion deserves nothing but minimum wage, stops you in the middle of the bridge, but turns out is slightly blind. So by parkouring around the bridge, he's too impressed by your mad skills to bother stopping you and raving about the C button. But the margin for error with this glitch is really fine, so without a good lineup, you're going for a swim. There's other glitches such as the MIPS and bomb skip that essentially do the same thing, where you grab a thing, back it up on some hoe, let the thing fly, and then become the 1 in 1 trillion chance of splitting the world's particles. The thing you're holding then spawns inside you, and if the thing is there, you have to go somewhere, so why not backwards? These glitches allow you to access certain parts of the game, limited through doors and, you know, actually playing the game, you cheat. But the open design of this speedrun is one of the best parts. While speedruns for Portal look really fucking cool, it's kind of a linear game to run. The appeal is more on the runner's mechanics and the spectacle as opposed to the freedom of progression. I am smart, I say big words. The star system, especially with glitches, means there's no order to how you should complete the run. Of course, there's an optimal route for each category, but who knows how much that might change with more glitches and like sick shortcuts to be discovered. In 2012, a guy called Batora, oh yeah, wait, is that name familiar? You know, he's only the world record holder for 120 star. Right? What a fucking nerd. This is Batora's 16-star run in 2012, and he chooses this order to beat the game. The first thing you'll notice is that he gets 5 stars from Lethal Lava Land. While on the current 16-star world record, Akki only gets 4 stars from Lethal Lava Land and opts to get an extra star from Shifting Sands Land. In Batora's run, they opt to get the LLL stars first and then go to SSL, while Akki grabs the Vulture on top and inside the Pyramid stars first. While it's a small difference, being able to change your order like this is what keeps the game fresh. The 120-star route seems like it would have a very linear route, seeing as you have to get every star in the game, so why not just follow the game normally? But dummy, you ain't listening. This game ain't normal. While the first area has a mostly linear progression, where worlds are locked behind the amount of stars you have, the later areas don't really feature this as much. And even still, there's a lot of funkin' you can do. You can get your stars from Bob on Battlefield and then go hit up Cool Mountain, because fuck Womps. All my homies hate Womps. In the 120-star route, SSL, LLL, and Hazy Maze Cave can really be tackled in any order. Of course, again, there's an optimal route, but man, that sounds like fucking nerd shit to me. You see, if you're not an expert, the 16-star run is more of a learning experience. I personally use a very beginner-friendly route made by some guy off YouTube that doesn't do canonless, because fuck all that, and instead opts to get some stars from Cool Mountain because it's by far my favorite stage. Will I ever break the world record? No. But am I having fun and running the 16-star route the way I want to? Fuck yeah. And that's the beauty of this system. It's so easy to get into. It becomes an endless vacuum of skill that you can spend entire lifetimes playing it. And people do. A 16-star run typically takes a couple days to learn, but then you start cutting down time, using new techniques, and actually refining it, making it viable for a good time. Not that kind of good time. Now that you're a speedrunner, you don't get invited to parties. This is a major philosophy of this game, where on the surface it's simple, but gives the player the tools to become godly if they choose. Every man and his dog born around the 90s probably played this game at some point, but the way they played it and the way Simply, Batora, Punkay, Akki, any of these people play it is so much different. This simplicity and variety also means there's no hard barriers to learning how to run. If you're trying to get into running the game, I mean, the glitches are all optional, then the variety of level design never makes the speedruns feel long or boring, because every world has different mechanics and a look and feel that's unique to just that world. With mostly a focus on going up and down, the game then adds in SSL, LLL, and HMC, which act as breaks from the bottom to top level design. No, I've talked about them a lot, but they're just good levels. Basically, this game is sick and never gets boring because anyone can get into it, but mastering it takes a lifetime. Because like the game literally, it also metaphorically has levels. They made moves that they knew most people wouldn't use, but still added them in for those who would invest time into the game. Then those who invested time into the game found glitches to advance the runs. And finally, the raw ones and zeros built into the fundamental level design made for a big soup of everything that makes speedrunning so great. This game is speedrunning. Nintendo intentionally or not made a game so deep and creative that the mechanics, glitches, and freedom of gameplay all combined to create a speedrunning masterpiece. Still not as good as Cooking Mama though. I've been thinking about adding some kind of cool slogan to my videos, you know, like all the big guys do. You know, the thing at the start of their videos, which is, fuck, sorry. I was thinking something along the lines of, subscribe and I'll show you my dick. Sorry that cut off. Apparently you can't say that. Even like some cool visual branding thing, you know, like a mohawk or a colored hair. I don't know. So let me know your branding suggestions. I'm open to everything but a butt plug. That's not gonna work. Don't say it. And finally, as a last treat, here is a supercut of my personal best record in Super Mario 64. or PB for short.
Alright, baby, PB time. PB time, baby, let's go! Oh, I've got to turn on the timer. PB time, don't matter, PB time, baby, we still gonna PB, let's go! It's been 40 seconds and I've yet to play the game, doesn't matter. PB time, baby, let's go! Woo! Now we get to play the game. PB time, baby! I get that lacquer to skip, the first glitch of any speedrun. Long jump, line up, long jump. What the fuck? Go for the second time, we got this. Don't matter, still got time. The fuck, get 3 times the charm, baby, watch this shit. Let's go, baby, PB.